Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sin City. We are here in Las Vegas, home of lights, gambling, and crippling addictions, for the next round of the SLR Championship Tier 1. I'm your host, Lover Lars, and with me once again, with a very flattering portrait on the left there, is my friend Boss Man. How you doing, Boss?
I'm glad that of all the pictures I sent you, you picked that one. That one I think represents me the best.
Just the face. The face said 1,000 words. You know, it was beautiful. It really was.
Yeah, it was in the middle of a rain delay while I was calling a soccer match.
I thought you were just munching on a burger or something. But
No,
anyway,
no.
speaking of beautiful things, we are here in beautiful Vegas with an 18-car grid. What should hopefully be a really exciting racing event. Not often we come to Vegas, to be honest. A lot of leagues seem to want to bypass it, so it's always interesting to come here, from my experience anyway. Yourself, obviously you haven't done too much on the F1 games by comparison. I mean, I've been here since the dawn of feckin' time, since Codemasters was managing these games, but you seen much of Vegas, or...?
I haven't seen much of Vegas in the game. I was offered a press pass to go to Vegas in real life. I am not going this year, but no, I love the track. I've been to Vegas a couple times. It's right down the strip. It's a nice little track.
Do you think if I sent F1 management and told them who you are, that picture that we have for your profile, would they put it on the big sphere? I would love to see that face on the big sphere.
I don't think they will.
It's the perfect image.
If they did, that would be just in the middle of a safety car. Just put my face on the sphere.
No, I'll tell you what.
That'd be top tier.
I'll tell you what. Put it on for a rain delay, because Ocean Chief in the chat telling us we have rain in the race. It's a dry quali, a wet race. So that's going to throw a spanner in the works.
Apparently, I have mad echo.
You have mad echo. I mean, you sound fine on mine. It might be you coming down my mic. I might have you turned up a little bit. We'll try and do a few tweaks.
I do have mad echo. He is correct.
Right. Rain late in the race, according to Ocean Chief. So it's a dry start, raining towards the end, as we go past the Hard Rock Cafe there, with Jammy leading the charge. And I do want to keep an eye out for the sphere, because apparently the sphere is animated now. Like, properly animated. We have different things going across it. So, nice little sightseeing tour as Jammy comes round what's effectively the final bend. There is technically a little left-hand kink here as you come across the start-finish line to start his lap of Vegas. I've heard mixed things about the track. It looks like one of the McLarens is off in Sector 2 there. Like, well off track. Is that Joel? It was Joel. He's gone down the escape road. In the process of trying to warm up his tires. Back to Jammy. I've heard mixed things about Vegas from the drivers. I'm gonna be real. I'm personally not a fan of Vegas. It just feels a little bit too... It's hard to describe, honestly.
It's definitely different from some of even the street circuits that we've seen in F1. You've got this little section that Jamie just went through. Reminds me a lot of the old proposed Vietnam circuit.
Oh God.
Lot of windy, twisty bits, as you Brits would say. So, you know, I think that it's definitely very different from F1 circuits we've seen in the past. But I think particularly this really long straight, right down the strip past some of these very nice hotels, create really good racing. You know, passing the Venetian, the Luxor. You know, it's great racing.
I mean, a lot of DRS usage obviously is very powerful in this year's game. I think the main way I describe it, for myself personally as a driver, I personally find the track somewhat tedious. You've got some difficult braking zones, which I don't mind because they do provide potential opportunities for passing, although some of the chicanes seem to just be put there for the sake of it. And the main thing though is managing ERS. Managing ERS around here is a nightmare because aside from those corners, in Sector 1 and the tiny little one at the end of Sector 3, you're on full throttle like the entire time here. It feels like they were trying to make a combination of Baku, Indianapolis, and then they just decided to throw in that chicane that's in Sector 3 at Miami for some reason. Like,
well, I mean,
I get what they were going for, but I personally don't think it works.
I think going to Indianapolis would be a much better option than going to Vegas. But I understand why we're in Vegas. It's as I've already said, it's an interesting circuit, and Justin looks like he has a leg up on everybody early.
30.162, he's 4/10 clear of Noah, who is in the McLaren there. We're just getting the early times through. Lepson, interestingly, sitting in the pits on the medium compound tyre. Not sure if he was just testing that compound initially. But, and Justin looks like he's going to go for another run here. He spent a lap recharging. So, that says to me that tyre wear doesn't seem to be too bad, unless he's just getting some banker runs in early. But no, I kind of agree Indianapolis would be a better one, just on that note. I get why they do it in real life, don't get me wrong. F1 at the end of the day is a business. You plunk a circuit down the middle of a city like Vegas, people will come. They'll not watch the racing. They'll be in the casinos and in the VIP suites, but they'll come. They'll get their money. So, you know. It makes sense. I just wish it didn't have to... I wish it was done, like, addition to those classic circuits. Like, keep Indianapolis, keep Hockenheim, keep Malaysia. I long for the day we return to Malaysia.
Get rid of COTA. Keep COTA.
I will defend
get rid
COTA.
of Miami.
I will defend COTA. I will string Miami up by its neck. But I will defend COTA. I think COTA is a fine racing circuit.
Yes, get rid of COTA. Give me Indy and Vegas. I would go to a F1 race in Indy.
I'd say Indy and COTA would be my two American stops.
I mean, if we're only going with two, then yeah, Indy and COTA.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the action on track. We're still missing a few times on the board. Gurla is one of them. Is my controller fixed? Yes, it does seem to have fixed itself somewhat. Nope, it's still double skipping. Damn it. So we've got Gurla on their way around. Mr. Pike in the Sauber. Lepson still on those mediums, although he now switches to the softs. We've got Makender out there and AR Gamer as well. And Mr. Pike setting a purple Sector 1 by our timing screen, so we'll keep an eye on him. As he is... It's interesting to see the way they use the ERS. I believe Mr. Pike didn't actually use any ERS in Sector 1 there. Seems to be most people will sacrifice their Sector 1 to get the full run.
Ocean Chief says he has more intel.
39% after 45 minutes for rain. Now, bearing in mind, of course, we run a half race distance, so 45 minutes to an hour are the intended run times, usually closer to an hour if there's a safety car involved.
Ocean Chief says Lepson didn't load a setup.
That sounds like typical Haas behavior. So Lepson will be running a very interesting race today. We'll keep an eye on him, as we're also keeping an eye on Mr. Pike. He is doing the final run down to the line. He was purple Sector 1, didn't see a Sector 2. Sector 3 puts him third, not a bad run. But still no one touching Justin at the minute.
No, much like in Bahrain, Justin is far and away the fastest car so far. Noah's not too far behind. Well, Noah's not too far behind him relative to everybody else. He's about 4/10 behind Justin, and then it's about 3/10 back to Mr. Pike, and then a whole nother 10th back to Tenari. So the top four being separated by just under 0.8 of a second. Definitely a story we're going to have to keep an eye on.
You do wonder if he just put... Now, you have to wonder how much is Justin keeping in the tank, so to speak. Because a lot of people on bankers, they'll take extra fuel in case they make a mistake somewhere. They'll not be pushing the car to the limits. They know the track will improve. They know the temps will improve. And, of course, we've got to think in the long run. If they've looked at this and thought, oh, well, rain's coming, how many have compromised their dry running setup for the potential of being better in the rain? It is something the drivers have to think about because, of course, if you're new to F1, as soon as you go out on your first lap in quali, parc ferme is in effect. It's French, it means closed park. No one is allowed to edit the cars aside from some very specific changes. I believe the front wing and the tyre pressures would be your limit of what you can edit on the car. So you do have to think about the setup beforehand. You do have to plan ahead for the race. And, of course, our forecasts in this league are not set to perfect. They are just... predictions. So the rain could come earlier, the rain could come later, the rain may not come at all. It could already be raining when we load into the race. We don't know. We just have percentages to go off, and percentages, much like in Vegas, are not a guarantee. It's a gamble. You have to take the risk.
Yes, and you know, it is. I mean, you did make the joke about F1, about Vegas and gambling, so
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Well, I had to. You know, it was a perfect segue.
Ocean Chief says 14% of stats are made up, which I would believe the revert. I'd believe the inverse. So I would say that 86% of stats are made up.
What was the? It's a very old meme format. What was it? It's a quote that says, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet," said Abraham Lincoln.
Well, 60% of the time it works every time.
9 out of 10 dentists believe that the 10th dentist is really stuck up and should lighten up a little bit.
Exactly. I don't know what's wrong with the 10th dentist.
But, I was hoping Lepson would pull a surprise there, but as Joel retires, that's in Sector 1. We'll see if we can get on board with... We'll try and go with Nykow. Seems to be in that chicane. The car's disappeared now. I guess he went over the curb a little bit there and probably hit the wall on the inside.
Possibly. Looked like there might have been some tire tracks.
As I was saying there, though, I was wondering if, you know, Lepson was going to pull a worldie there and make us think, oh, well, you know, the setup doesn't matter too much. It certainly seems to matter to him. He's 3/10 off of the next running car, and he's the slowest of the drivers that have run so far. The only one still to run, AR Gamer, who I believe invalidated his first lap. So we'll keep an eye on AR Gamer, but Lepson looks like he's not going to be having a fun time. And, of course, if the rain comes, he's stuck on what is effectively a default dry weather setup. So, and as much as we, you know, harp on the various things for Codemasters, one thing that is always consistent across their games is the default setups are meant to be a baseline. They are not meant for proper running. That you are meant to tweak them, you are meant to edit them. They're not designed to be super competitive. So, Lepson will be in for a fun ride. Well, I say fun. Fun might be a debatable word. He'll be in for a ride tonight anyway, and so will Joel, of course. Didn't get another lap done, really. A 32-1 will be his best effort, and you get the feeling that everyone is going to improve upon that. So Joel will be one to watch in the race. He'll have some work to do.
Yeah, coming from the back, a little bit harder here at Vegas. Not a ton of passing zones, as we've already talked about. Some deep braking zones as AR Gamer goes into one and almost loses the back end. But not a lot of passing zones, especially through this tight, twisty bit right here, right around the sphere. So, you know, it's going to be hard for these guys to make their way from the back. But I think that Lepson and Joel certainly have the pace to be able to possibly make it work.
AR Gamer brushing the wall again there. He hasn't got any damage so far, it seems, unless it's that usual invisible sort of damage that the spectators can't see but the driver can feel. Rides the curb nicely, though, as he goes onto the long back straight. And keeping it clean this time, he's just looking to put a time on the board. If he's aware of Lepson's difficulties, he'll be hoping to at least beat Lepson. AR Gamer's just a driver I generally quite like. He's not been nearly really at the front, but he's here every week, you know, where he can be. He drives hard and to the best of his ability. And he's just a generally great guy, so wishing him all the best as he crosses the line here, and he will go... Nope, sorry, we've got one more corner to go around. It's not going to be pole, it should be a decent time. P14, and he's in the 31s. So that puts him right in the mix. I mean, if you look, the entire... Let's just see the gap here. From P4, which is a 30.7, to AR Gamer, which is a 31.1. That's 10 drivers covered by 0.4 of a second.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the 0.4 of a second, the midfield is extremely close. Obviously, you've got Justin up front. He's got a massive lead on Jamie now. Jamie goes second. Noah is third. But a lot of not much separation in the midfield should make for a very, very good race.
It's interesting to see some of the drivers looking to what appear to be their final runs now. We've got Tug out on track, although he's backed off now. And he'll probably come back to the pits because there's 3 minutes left. So If you're making it back to the pits now, it's perfect timing. You can change over, maybe wait 30 seconds and go up for another run. And you can see most of the drivers are waiting in the pits there. We should explain to the people that we were talking about things like bankers and stuff. Obviously, if you're new to ALR and new to F1 in general, welcome aboard, first of all. We're glad to have you. But we should explain that in qualifying, you can do as many runs as you can fit in the time limit, but the game does have what we call track evolution. As the drivers go round, the track temperature increases, the rubber gets laid down on the track, which provides more grip. So we will see the times come down throughout the session. It's not just the drivers gaining confidence, the track does actually evolve. As Makender giving us a little wave with his DRS there. I thought he was sending Morse code for please help, I'm stuck in 5th. And he's invalidated on this lap, so he will recharge for another one. So he's out on track. Tug is coming into the pits. He'll have to go some if he wants to get back out again, because by the time his mechanics pull him in and put the screens down, he's got to get out of the pits and make it round in, well, pole time is a 1 minute 30. On your warm-up, you're going a lot slower than that, so you want at least, I'd say, a 1 minute 40 before you get it, you know, if you're getting out of the pits. Some drivers coming out now. Mr. Pike is out there. We've got a whole concertina. Verch overtaking already. It's not race day yet, as a ton of black smoke is thrown up there. Crystals is out there in the Ferrari. We've got John Wick out there, and look at this queue of traffic. Gurla making their way around as well. You'll just see everyone come out pretty much at the same time. We've got some drivers on a run already. Run Cruiser is out on his lap. Slight improvement. Lepson is also just starting his lap now. He's just started his, so he will be one of the first to cross the line along with Run Cruiser. So we'll keep an eye on those ones. They're going to be the first. This will be their last run unless they are able to conserve the ERS and make another lap. It doesn't look like it. Makender retires in the pits, realizing he's not going to have enough time to come back out. So he mistimed his run. He will not be able to set an improvement, and that could cost him on his grid slots.
As he makes the run down the strip, he'll take the left-hander past the MGM Grand. That's right, I looked up a map of the hotels.
Oh gosh. I suppose, well, you'll be a tourist there next year, won't you? So there you go, it's better to learn it now.
I could be.
Cross the line. Improves, but doesn't really improve the position. It improves by 1 up above Joel, but bit of a disappointment there for Run Cruiser, although he has closed up. He's in the 131s, again showing how close the field is, relatively speaking. Lepson, the only driver still in the 32s, but of course he is running without a setup. We've got Jammy out there doing a lap. He's threatening for pole, so we'll keep an eye on him. Of course other drivers could be, and tell you what, Jammy is right behind a Red Bull that is giving him a lovely little slipstream. This could be looking good for Jammy. Keeping it clean so far and keeping a respectable distance. Dirty air is a thing, but with the amount of straights on Vegas, a slipstream is really what you want. You'll make up far more time than you would have lost in the corners. And we'll keep an eye on the sector times here. You might be able to see on the stream quality, I'm not sure if you can, but tiny little white lines on the track map, those are the sector divisions. So we're coming up to the end of Sector 2 now. Jammy following quite nicely. He's only marginally up though, but this is where he'll make real gains. He'll get DRS, he'll get the slipstream off the Red Bull. DRS opens. You can see he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Now what he has to do is hope, of course, he doesn't have to brake early to avoid hitting the Red Bull. That seemed like a pretty good braking point. Keeps it within the white lines. Round the final corner, he's got 4/10 to make up. And to tell you what, slipstream with DRS could make up that difference. John Wick will finish 11th. Jammy, can he do it? He does! A 10th quicker. Can Justin respond? He's marginally up on Sector 2, but he does not have the slipstream. I said it was looking good for Jammy. It's still looking good. Deployment's already used round the final corner. He does pit them though, 129.9. Look how close that was, 0.03 of a second. Can Noah do anything? He's got to find 6/10 and he doesn't even improve, unfortunately. Crystal's improved up to P4. Meepo is in P5, but what can he do? Makender still holding on to P6, despite not getting a final run. As Lepson retires, he'll start from the back. Meepo goes up to third. Tug, also marginally improving, is not able to beat his teammate. Only just by, what would that be? That's 7/1000ths of a second. Last car on the track, Tunari, is boxing. So what a finish to quali there. That was as near a run thing. Ocean Chief, by the way, asking, what's the difference between a hotel and a motel?
Is this a question for me?
I'm assuming so. Motels are more of a thing over in America than in Europe.
Oh, so a motel is like low cost per night, like extended stay type of deal. Hotel is just like where you go on vacation or holiday or whatever you want to call it.
So it's kind of like the equivalent of a hostel for Europeans, I suppose, where you can go for a longer stay. It's, you know, it tends to be a bit cheaper per night, and you sort of manage things more yourself rather than having staff waiting on you hand and foot.
Yes, and it's lower quality.
Fair enough. Anyway, though, Justin takes pole. The French getting their debt repaid for helping you guys in the War of Independence.
I'm not going to repeat the question that Ocean Chief asked, but the answer to that is yes.
Truck drivers would frequent there. Let's put it that way. And look at that, it is raining already. I thought it was meant to be rain at the end of the race. It's not rain at the end of the race, it's raining right now. I told you the weather forecast wasn't accurate, so maybe some of the drivers will have pulled a blinder here. Maybe some of the ones that were a bit slower have gotten a good setup on, and we could see some very interesting racing. Of course, they are allowed to make some tweaks. They could raise the front, or increase the front wing a bit, maybe change the tire pressures. Ocean Chief squealing like a little girl in the chat because that's really OMG.
I like that they have the real hotel names. You can see the MGM Grand off in the distance.
What does MGM stand for again?
Dude, I couldn't tell you.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was M&M, and my mind immediately thought
no,
chocolate.
It's MGM Grand, across the street from New York, and then you got Planet Hollywood. The Parisian is in there with their big giant fake Eiffel Tower. They do make the turn onto the strip past the Venetian.
Oh, here we go. 5 red lights, and place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Justin gets a pretty good getaway. Jamie tries to match him and does so just about. Justin cuts across. Oh no, we've immediately had contact. Jamie and Noah. And Justin apparently losing it to Tug. We've got some desync. Tug is definitely not in the lead. It's Justin from Jamie. Meepo taking advantage. We've got a lot of ghosted drivers. I think we might be having some connection issues. There we go. It seems to have stabilized. Tug is the only one out of position there on our timing charts, and we apologize for that. But that was very close to Noah ending up in the wall. He's dropped to P6 at the minute. Sorry, P5 of course, because Tug has been repositioned as he is doing battle with Makender. Makender finding his way into the defensive position. And they all survive thus far. Everyone running the intermediate tires. And it looks to be Inters pretty much all the way. Probably a one-stopper, to be honest. The Inters are tough as nails. The wets are basically useless in real life and in game, I hate to say. Biggest winner off the line there. Skoloin in the Williams, up 6 places. Biggest loser would be John Wick, down 6. But also Verch, his teammate, and Crystals down 5. So some big winners and losers on the poker table so far. I'm sorry, I'm trying to throw gambling references in everywhere.
Yeah, it was an interesting first corner. A lot of contact, particularly in the midfield. We saw some guys kind of half spin as we've got one car off. That's Noah into the wall. He will take the runoff, I believe. He
rejoined there, and it looked like he rejoined in front of AR Gamer, who was taking some avoiding action. He holds out in 14th. We've got some battles happening up top. Skoloin losing out to Tug there. As they, every lap is basically an adventure at this point. We don't know the status of the rain. We don't know whether it's going to ease or get heavier or get worse. And of course, let's be real, the chances of rain in most circuits are less than a dry one. So a lot of drivers don't do wet weather running in their practices coming up through the week. They'll maybe do 1 or 2 runs on the Inters just to give them a try. But of course, time trial mode in this game doesn't allow you to do wet weather time trials anymore. So you have to go in and set up an entire Grand Prix, which causes a problem. And you can't prepare for every eventuality. So for a lot of these drivers, it's their first time running in the wet, and they're just tippy-toeing around, exploring what the limits are. Someone who has nearly found his limits is Justin, who is nearly a second clear of Jammy, who himself is a second clear of Meepo.
Yeah, these guys are going to spread out a little bit. You can see just kind of the rain through that high-speed section around the sphere. The back end might step out a little, but it's really easy to lose the back end right through there. Tug might have gotten a snap of oversteer sitting in P7, but you know, these guys are professionals. They will handle the rain very well, but certainly a lot of spray being kicked up as they trundle down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Professional might be a bit of a strong word, but we've got John Wick and Noah now tippy-toeing their way. You can see them there at the back. We do apologise for the timing screen. That's usually because of desync. Tug apparently 1 minute and 43 seconds ahead of Skoloin, but he's definitely not. In fact, Skoloin is literally right under the Aston Martin's rear wing. Hopefully that will rectify itself soon enough, but they seem to be in the right position on track. It's just the timing tower is having some problems, as Justin sets the fastest lap of the race, and things are fairly calm at the moment. But this is F1. Anything can happen later on.
Yeah, this is as we've already talked about, this is a street circuit. The walls are a little tighter than usual. That opens the possibility up to, you know, it's less forgiving if you make a mistake, as Chinari follows Skoloin through turn number 2. But, you know, these guys have a lot to deal with. They've got 22 laps to go around this circuit. We'll see if they can make the best of it, but certainly a lot of water on the track right now.
I was going to say, we were about to go into Formula Drift mode there with the Williams in front. That was a brilliant drift, although it looks like Skoloin is struggling in the corners. Tunari basically bump drafting the Williams through the corners there. Oh, he's so slow on the exit there. Kraken obviously built for probably drier conditions, expecting more straight line speed. You can see he pulls away here because there's no DRS to support Tunari. But look at him running wide even through that left and right hander. There's no grip on that Williams comparative to the drivers around him. But the straight line speed is enough to keep him ahead for now. But you can see how that Williams is sliding everywhere, and Tunari may have the run here. Using all that overtake, he's actually got to be careful. Once you go below 10% on the ERS, your battery goes into, much like your phone where it has like a low power mode, your car will do the same thing. You'll still get something of a boost, but it won't be anywhere near as powerful. And Tunari does make the move.
He got him right as they passed by the Bellagio, which is right in the middle of that straightaway. Maybe a little front wing being kicked up there. But,
I did see Skoloin, no, that was before that corner, did have damage to the front left end plate. I thought I saw another bit there, but it could just be some mild contact. Tug seems to be experiencing the same problems here. Assuming he is actually in P8, he seems to have teleported around a little bit in recent laps. We assume that Tug is where he's meant to be. Failing that, he's just a glitch in the Matrix, and he was never here to begin with.
That's probably not true, but maybe if he took the...
Oh, Makender trying to make the move. And I tell you what, Mr. Pike is lingering in the woods there. The Williams again struggling. This time it's of Meepo, and he's really dropped back from Jammy. 4 seconds adrift. Jammy himself, though, nearly 3 behind Justin. But Meepo is starting to form a train, and there's contact there. Oh, nearly squeezing the wall. Mr. Pike says, I've had enough of this. I'm going through, sunshine. You can suck it. Makender, are you going to take that line down, boy? Come on.
We are in America, and they say that Rubbin is racing in NASCAR, and Makender and Mr. Pike are certainly making that true. I
thought that was going to be nearly into the wall. And of course, Nycow also looking for opportunities to get past. Rubbin is racing certainly in America because, let's face it, well, Indy cars, even Indy cars, but mostly NASCARs, of course, are a little bit tougher. You can bump and bars those cars. You so much as breathe on an F1 car the wrong way, it'll probably explode in a shower of carbon fiber. As Makender loses out in the power battle with the Mercedes. Nycow up to 5th, and they're still following this train behind Meepo. Meepo just effectively managing his power. He's got plenty left in the tank. I tell you what he hasn't got, though. He's marginal on fuel. You can see that yellow light. That's saying, you know, you've got just enough fuel, but you better be careful, boy. So, oh, the lunge from Mr. Pike. Will he make the corner? He goes a bit deep. But Meepo can't get the power down. That was a great move by Mr. Pike. Knew he had the traction to get out of that corner. and now he will try and pull away from Meepo and potentially catch up to the leaders, although he's 5.3 behind, and Meepo's not taking it lying down. Meepo to the inside. My apologies, the outside for this corner. Don't squeeze him into the wall. That was bloody close, but they survive just. And we've also got Naikau weaving this way and that way, try and find a way through. Further back, Skoloin has overtaken Crystals for P10, but this is the main battle on track here. Look how close these four are, and they're keeping it clean as well.
Yeah, this is, to see these guys keep it clean, it's always a good battle as they head down the backside of this course, back towards the Venetian and Las Vegas Boulevard, but up front, Justin has pulled away by quite a bit. Mr. Pike, he's gonna have to start making some inroads.
We've got yellows
to catch the leaders.
That looks like it's Skoloin, and he's in the wall.
That's the exit of the Venetian.
Missed his braking point, I assume. He was already missing an end play. I think he's missing the other one now. Indeed, he is. That's a very thin-looking front wing. He'll basically have to pay at this point. He's still technically got a front wing on, but it might as well be red. Because red front wing on either side is horrific on this year's game. I know myself, I was going around Saudi Arabia last week in AOR and got a broken front wing, unfortunately, and it was appalling to drive. So he'll probably dive for the pits, and that might be all that Skoloin wrote for his challenge, because John Wick certainly hasn't been able to make any inroads. Noah trying his best, but he's still 14 down off of Skoloin alone. Up at the front, meanwhile, look at this. Meepo is dropping back. That Williams is not having a fun time. Makender, does he get the move done? He does just about. And I'll tell you what, Meepo's also missing an end plate on the front right. So, it's Mr. Pike now still leading this train, but Naikau and Makender behind him. I tell you what, Mr. Pike is sliding around everywhere. I'd be curious to see the tire temps on his rear. He must be heating up that rubber something fierce. As Jammy goes out of camera shot, Mr. Pike, the gap has increased by about 2/10 and is slowly increasing. Jammy basically having a race of his own, so too is Justin.
He is definitely pushing hard, and that might cost him in the long run. You would expect a one-stop, possibly a two-stop if we get a safety car, but you have to take care of your tires in the rain. That is a big key.
It's a big key in F1 in general. Some would argue it's a bit too big. Some people do long for the days, well, but that was, of course, back. I suppose a big reason the tires are a main thing is, of course, refueling was banned. This was a long time ago. It was back in 2009 was the last year of refueling, but the favourite strategy back in the old days, as Mr. Pike seems to be really trying to get into Japanese Formula Drift, and Makender with the run. Does he have the run? They're both similar on ERS. Has a little think about it. He's not alongside enough, and it seems Mr. Pike can brake somewhat later. Oh, gets a wheel up the inside. He's there, but he can't get the traction coming out of that on that line near the exit of the pit lane. No one really drives on that part. There's no rubber laid down on that part, so you'll be hard pressed to get acceleration off the corner there. But as I was saying, the old strategy, of course, Schumacher made it very famous, was to just put a light fuel load in the car and just burn through your tires, just do quali lap after quali lap, and pull out enough of a gap that you could make another pit stop. Long gone are those days. You really do have to be conservative on the fuel and your tires somewhat. Mr. Pike is... Oh no, Mr. Pike goes deep. Naikau takes advantage. So does he? Makender got through. As Skoloin gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, and he's called... That's why he's just called it. He's had enough. So our first retirement is the Williams of Skoloin after that crash and repairing the damage. Saw the gap and thought, nah, this ain't worth it. That's not much of a gap though. Oh no! Oh. Now, was there contact that forced Makender into a spin there? Because they were very close. More wheel barging. This time with Mr. Pike and Naikau. These guys are getting very aggressive.
Yeah, that was the old bump and run there by Mr. Pike.
Oh, Meepo! Meepo! Oh no, they're wheel barging. Look at this, it's like Ben-Hur. Thank God we don't have the bow to see wheel spikes, otherwise we'd be in real trouble here. But Meepo and Mr. Pike are far from best friends right now, and there was some contact over the curb there as Mr. Pike mounted it and went wide. But Naikau is the winner in that battle. He goes ahead as Justin sets another fastest lap of the race. These four are not calling it quits on each other anytime soon. And I tell you what, Tunari and Makender, like, they're all pretty close together. Tug is actually not too far behind this battle. Oh! Mr. Pike saying, I deserve some room there. As Makender says, thank you very much, I'll go around your outside. Mr. Pike is getting really desperate on the fence. I wonder if he has overcooked those tyres somewhat in these early defences. Because Night Cow is gone, he's pulled a second.
That is a possibility.
Oh no!
They both made the corner.
But here comes Sebastian. Sorry, wrong driver. But look at the Mercedes trying to take advantage there. Through goes Hamilton. Well, it is the Mercedes we're watching here. He tried to take advantage, thought better of it. Meepo is still there. Tug has now joined this battle. And tell you what, Run Cruiser's not a million miles behind either. 1.5 and they're all slowing each other up. This is a terrific tussle. It's only for 4th place, mind you. Night Cow has pulled away. He's taken advantage. So Mr. Pike does seem to be the cork in this bottle, so to speak. But he's holding his own, albeit very aggressively. There might be some complaints in the steward's office later on, but it's giving us great entertainment around this soaking wet Vegas strip.
Yeah, if we had gone back to that last lap, when Makender tried to go around the, I think it was the outside of Mr.
Sorry,
Pike.
Tunari, sorry, my bad. Tunari makes the move. You can see them weaving about in the straight trying to break the toe. Of course, you don't really, it's a bit vague on long straights. Realistically, you're only meant to make one defensive move. You're allowed to move once and then once to go back to your racing line. On longer straights, it's a bit more debatable because, you know, you can complete one move, maybe travel for another 100 meters, and then say, well, I can make another move now. So it's a bit blurry there, but everything seemed clean enough. That wasn't very clean, though. They're drifting everywhere. Those tires must be screaming in pain.
You kind of have to start wondering, snap of oversteer by Tunari. You kind of start to have to wonder how long these tires can last, but a lot of beating and banging the last couple laps. Mr. Pike gave Makender the old bump and run going through Venetian, and that's a classic NASCAR move.
Oh no! Tunari losing the rear under braking. Now that's important. That shows how bad the tires are, because even if you're running ABS on this year's game, if your tires are worn, you can still technically lock the rears because you're braking and turning at the same time. ABS will stop you locking a brake completely, but you will still get snaps of oversteer and understeer, and that says to me that their tires are burning badly. If I recall correctly, a 2-stopper is Joe gets 10 seconds for corner cutting somehow. Normally it's only a 3 seconds for that, but if I recall correctly, maybe someone can go back in the stream. Look, I believe it was about lap 11 was when you pitted for a 2-stopper. And we're on lap 9, and these guys have been battling as well, so they've been using their tires more aggressively. It would make sense that their tires are burning out. Mr. Pike holds 4th for now. And he has caught up to Night Cow a little bit. Night Cow has dropped back. He's nearly 9 seconds ahead of Jamie, who himself is nearly 7 behind Justin, who just keeps setting fast laps. But then, of course, Justin is on the front of the field. He's not had to battle. He can manage his tires. He can manage his pace. He's still sliding a bit.
I've gotten word that he might be disconnected.
Who might be disconnected?
Justin.
I mean, normally with that, we have the AI, I believe, is set to 80, which is not particularly quick. We'll see if the gap comes down. But of course, the thing is, if he's disconnected and his AI finishes, I don't believe his finishing position counts. I believe you have to finish under your own steam.
We'd have to ask Ocean Chief about that.
We would have to ask. Maybe Ocean Chief can provide some detail for us in the comments. But for now, this train continues, and this battling ain't stopping anytime soon.
Crystals has I think he's just come out of the pits. So the first person to blink.
He's not losing time though, so it might just be Steam. Yeah, Steam can sometimes disconnect, but it won't disconnect you from the lobby. So it could just be Steam. His evidence is that he's on the bottom right, that Justin is now playing F124. That happens with Steam sometimes. The only time you really get disconnected from the lobby completely is usually, well, over here in Europe, it's on a late Tuesday night, because Tuesday is when Steam does the full server updates. So everyone who's hosting on Steam tends to do the same thing. So we get kicked out usually on Tuesday. Haven't seen anyone being kicked out on a Wednesday as of yet, but I suppose it's possible. Night Cow's gap is closing there. Mr. Pike now just on the edge of a second, literally 1.001, and he's within a second now. Oh, that was a slight miscalculation. He's bumped the wall. Makender will try and take advantage, but he has no ERS. Look at that. Neither of them do. And here comes Hamilton. Tunari, was he wall riding there? Was that the wall riding trick from NASCAR I saw? Who was it did the wall riding? Who did the wall riding in NASCAR?
Chastain.
Ah, there you go. I don't know if that'll work in F1. Imagine we saw that around here. Imagine someone wall rides on the final lap. That'd be hilarious.
You might be able to do it around the final corner.
If you hit the wall at the right angle, though, because enough speed can send your tires off. But Mr. Pike loses out to Makender in that battle, and it looks like he's about to lose out to Tunari. How aggressively will he defend? Seems to be a bit of a losing. It's a rear guard action from Mr. Pike. Funny enough, defending like the ancient Spartans who would have been wielding pikes to keep things at bay. The name very fitting at the minute. Tunari, though, not fitting through that gap, and he's got more of a train behind him. Tug has joined his train, so has Run Cruiser, how you said would happen. Meepo is still there. The next driver to join will be Verge, but he's 5.5 behind.
To answer Boosted Mess in the chat, yes, it does rain in Vegas. It actually rains in Vegas a lot. In fact, it snows in Vegas. So.
Really? Because everyone has this assumption that Vegas is in a desert, effectively, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it is kind of in the middle of the desert, but it is just far enough north that it snows. It's about where Tennessee is.
Fair enough.
If you look at the southeast.
Well, there you go. So if you're going to say it's going to be a cold day in Cincy before someone wins, it could very well be. So that saying might not work the best. Makender has checked out as well a little bit. No, he hasn't quite. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Mr. Pike really wants that position back. Swoops to the inside at the last second. Will he make the corner? Oh, that's a reverse entry drift. And there was contact, and that was way too ambitious. As Tunari says, thank you very much, both of you. I'll have you. Oh, and Tug trying to go around the outside. Mr. Pike's getting way too ambitious with these defensive moves. Tunari gets past both of them. He's up to P4. Now, please, no heroics into Sandoval. It's not Sandoval, obviously, but you know what I mean? Oh, no! And squeezed into the wall. I mean, Mr. Pike will say I was entitled to some space, but you never really go for a move around the outside unless you're confident you can make it. And please don't take out your teammate. It's the golden rule of F1. Mr. Pike, it's all gone wrong for him in this lap. He's down to P8, and he hits his teammate and loses the rear. Meepo is right on his rear wing. What a disaster for the Saubers. So it's now in third place. So Nykow still in third. Tunari joins them in P4. Makender 5th. Tug in 6th. Run Cruiser 7th. And Mr. Pike now down to P8. Surely you'd say he's got a box. He's got major wing damage on the left hand side from what I can see. Yeah, look at that. You can see, like, it looks like the entire green part is missing on that wing. And here comes Meepo in the Williams to add insult to an actual injury on that Sauber. Surely now would be the time to box Mr. Pike. Make it a two-stopper. There's no way you're battling around with this. Oh, there was more contact there. Thankfully, they both stayed facing around the right way. Mr. Pike will be absolutely livid with that Williams. I dread to think what he's going to do. Meepo moves and is going into the pits. And Mr. Pike does the same. As Mr. Pike gets 3... I'm not sure what he got 3 seconds for. Oh, because he cut across the pit lane entry line.
Yes.
I thought it was like as he was going into the pits, but then he bailed out. Of course, Hamilton got a penalty for that back in, I want to say it was Germany 2019. The in, stay out. And he got a penalty for that, so that's a slam dunk penalty for Mr. Pike. I don't think he'll get that one removed. As AR Gamer gets on another set of inters, that should do him till the end. We're on lap 13. We're over half race distance.
To follow up on my Vegas snow point, in 2008. They got 3.5 inches of snow in December.
Nice. White Christmas. Just Boosted Mess there saying real quick, feel like the FIA are going to be busy after this one. Super action packed though. That's to be sure. Although we're getting a breather now. The closest gap on track to Nari chasing down Makender, although the gap is 8/10. So we'll finally have a chance to catch our breath. Sorry, I tell a lie. Noah is the closest gap. But he's not made much progress since his pit stop. He's stuck in P14 behind the setup-less behavior of Lepson. Can he make the move? You see how much difference no setup makes. Oh, and Lepson drifting wide nearly hits the wall but keeps it clean. He's actually kept with Joel pretty well.
Yeah, Joel got a little loose in Venetian as well.
You're just looking up every opportunity to plug the Venetian, aren't you?
I like the Venetian. It's cool. I went on a gondola ride. It's like It's like little Venice, Italy. Pretty
Oh,
cool.
at the front. Oh, no, hang on. I thought there was a pass there. Make ender boxes. First of the main runners to box, I'd say. We'll see where he comes out. So everyone else still going on. Meepo has just boxed as well. Mr. Pike is also in the pits repairing that front wing. Dismal day for the Saubers, it has to be said. Although Run Cruiser, not so dismal for him. He's P6 at the minute. See if he can make it work. John Wick, though, still last of the pecking order. He's just not have fun in these conditions. Justin, meanwhile, like a pig in mud at the minute.
Seems like it.
Looking back to the gaps, we're all fairly spaced out. It's Joel and Lepson there, the closest battles on track at the minute. Although Run Cruiser is closing in rapidly on Tug and is about to get within a second if he can make that corner. That was close. They're all really struggling with that chicane just towards the end of Sector 2, I'm noticing. And a little bit in the one in Sector 3 as well. It's basically the closest we get to the Singapore Sling. I'm not too sure if you were ever familiar with that one. Back in, I don't know, when did you start watching F1? Bossman?
2015.
No, you wouldn't. The Singapore Sling, go look up on YouTube.
I mean, I know about the Singapore Sling. Like,
good.
I played F1 2011.
Oh, good stuff.
Heikki Kovalainen.
Boosted saying, just Google it. There's a picture of the pyramid in LV in Las Vegas with the tip illuminated and shining through the snowfall in the dark. Looks like a massive fountain. So cool. Legit had no idea it gets so cold. Deserts do tend to get quite cold at night. It's a bit of it. Everyone thinks they get really hot, but of course, if you don't get rain, there's no cloud cover. There's no cloud cover. It basically acts like a blanket, keeps the heat in. So all the heat escapes, and it gets incredibly cold in the desert.
That pyramid is called the Luxor.
I thought it was the Pro Base shop.
There is a Bass Pro Shops.
Bass Pro Shop. Oh, safety car, safety car. Now, what's caused that?
Why.
I am not sure. I don't see any DNFs. I don't see... oh, we've got Ferrari missing its front wing. Crystals has no front wing at all. So, presumably that's what it's for. I'm surprised it's a full course safety car. This is going to shake things up a bit. I would have thought... You'd think for losing just a front wing you could get it done under virtual, but... All of Justin's hard work is going to go down the drain, but of course he's that far ahead, he could probably take a pit stop and come out in the lead. And of course, Jamie and the ones behind him have to pit as well.
He does have a lap car if John Wick, although he lets John Wick by. If John Wick had been between them, it would have given Justin a little bit of cushion.
Yeah, for some reason the F1 games don't allow lap cars to unlap themselves. So what lead drivers, if they're being courteous, will often do is just slow down enough that it makes the game say, okay, this driver's going too slow, you can pass them. And that's effectively the same as unlapping yourself. Yeah. So John Wick will get back on the lap. He's on the mediums. Why is he on the mediums? Well, I suppose actually it's a gamble. He's like that far down the order. He might as well. Is the rain letting up for you? It doesn't seem to be for me.
Maybe it's letting up more than we think it is.
It doesn't look like it on the track anyway, but he might as well take the gamble. So he will be allowed to overtake the safety car and he will catch up to the back of the pack. Ocean Chief, any word on if the rain is meant to ease up, or is John Wick just taking a super big gamble here? We'll wait on word from our weather correspondent, Ocean Chief. Meanwhile, in the field, so Justin holds the lead, Jamie will be second, Nykow third. They're all as they were pretty much. Tunari has made a pit stop. Meepo goes ahead of Run Cruiser, who makes no box.
Our pit lane reporter says rain stays for the next 20 minutes.
So John Wick, I think, decided to have a bit of fun there, or take the gamble.
We should bring Ocean Chief in here.
Oh no! Oh. Mr. Pike with a 10-second penalty for speeding. That just sums up his day, really, doesn't it? And he's had to double stack.
Yeah. We should bring Ocean Chief in here. And just have him break in with reports from the pit lane when he has them.
Ocean Chief, how'd you like to be our Ted Kravitz?
Yes, come be our Ted Kravitz.
Do you know what? Do you know what I remember? This is going back way in the past.
Okay.
There's an old website called Miniclip. I think it still technically exists. It holds a bunch of Flash games, but I remember there was an online racing game. It was basically F1, but obviously they didn't use the F1 license, and it was very simple. You could do it on a keyboard. But what I really love, and I really wish they put this into the Codemasters games, or at least into like whatever EA is putting on, is Mr. Pike Goes to the Wets as a gamble. You were able to actually walk around the paddock with your driver, and it was like a hub world. You interacted with other drivers. You could speak to media teams to earn like extra points and like, you know, extra rewards. You could do training sessions. I would love if we got something like that. I remember it vaguely in F1 2010 as well, where you actually got like, you were in your trailer and you could look around the trailer.
Yes,
like,
that was
I would love that. When I heard
2011.
F1 World, I thought, is that what they're doing? Because that would be brilliant. Imagine having like an actual multiplayer lobby where instead of staring at the menu, you're walking around like the press pen with your avatar, and you're able to like interact with other drivers and stuff. That would be so good.
Like in NBA 2K.
Yeah, exactly. That would be such a good.
The one in 2K is not as much fun as you think it is.
No, but I think the idea has potential.
Yeah.
So John Wick appears to be. Is he staying out? He is staying out thus far. Yes, he had the other opportunity to pit. He's staying out on those mediums and nearly losing at very slow speeds.
Oh, he did lose it.
And he did lose it? Is he gone?
Yes, he did lose it. Well, he's in the wall. He got in the wall.
Mr. Pike going back to the pits. I wonder if he's extending the safety car for his teammate here. He's boxing again. He was on the wets. And he is going to a set of inters. Oh, he's also... Oh, he's serving the penalty. That's what he's doing. You're not allowed to serve a drive-through under safety car, but you can serve 10 seconds. So he's just... I see. So he used the wets as like a... as a filler set, so he could come back and do the 10-second penalty and go onto the actual compound of tire he wants. That's smart. That's very smart. And he comes out still ahead of Crystals and John Wick, who is, well... Shall we get the clown music on? Not that he's a clown, but just the way the car is driving.
Do we have clown music?
I don't know. I don't know if that's copyrighted.
From Madagascar.
That's not what?
Afro Circus.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's in the Madagascar movies.
yeah, but that's like
I mean,
Entrance of the
it
Gladiators
is
or something.
Yes, it is circus music, but there's a song in Madagascar, like Afro Circus, Afro Circus.
Yeah, it's to the same tune. I love how you hear that song and your mind immediately goes to Madagascar.
Listen, I
love you, boss man. Never change.
I'm a little neurodivergent at times.
Aren't we all? We're on the... Let's be honest, we all are. We're league racing in F1 and we're talking in a Discord. We're about as neurodivergent as you can feckin' get.
That's true. That's true. Ocean Chief says he puts the house on John Wick winning the race.
Oh, God.
I don't know what those words mean, but I think he's lost his job as Ted Kravitz.
Have you never heard the house always wins?
The house does always win. You're, again, more gambling reference.
I don't think you understand what the house is. It doesn't mean you bet your house, Ocean Chief. The house is the casino that runs the joints, you know.
Yeah.
So that's when it says the house always wins, that means, you know, the guys you're betting against always win.
Yes. You can bet the house on things. That is like a gambling term. But I wouldn't bet the house on John Wick.
I mean, if he's going to lose all his money, though, that means he'll not be able to do your Ted Kravitz. So if you'd like a job on SLR, as Mr. Pike gets another 10-second penalty, please send your applications to... what's Rickety's email? Just spam them to Rickety. Just at Rickety constantly, and he'll answer you.
DM him on Discord. Well, yeah. I mean, it was obvious that you don't know the lingo, Ocean Chief. That part. I got that part.
Oh, there's the. Oh, it's actually watching the cars.
The sphere,
the sphere seems
creepy.
to be watching the cars.
But the sphere's being creepy.
It is being, well, sphere's always kind of creepy.
Well, yeah. Ocean Chief says he bets his wife on it.
Wait,
I don't think
married?
Ocean Chief has a wife, but...
I was going to say, are you married, Ocean Chief? So does that mean there's an Ocean Chiefess? I don't know, what do you call a female chief?
Mrs. Ocean Chief? Can we meet Can Mrs. Ocean Chief become Ted Kravitz? I bet she's prettier than you.
Tess Kravitz.
Tess Kravitz. There we go.
Ted and Tess Kravitz. Is John Wick's idea to arrive on the safety car restart with warm tyres now then, whilst everyone else is colder? Possibly. I mean, I think this is the last... I don't think he'll catch up to the pack in time. I'm pretty sure this is the last lap the safety car can stay out. Although
safety car can stay out as long as the safety car wants to stay out. There's
no, in the game
limits on
there is a hard-coded limit. I want to say it's 4 laps. It's still flashing lights though, and we've already passed sector 3. Oh no, it is in this lap. John Wick is not going to make it in time.
This is right at the entrance of sector 3.
Yeah, John Wick is not going to make it, unfortunately.
I do have to say the Denny's on the Las Vegas Strip. If you ever go to Vegas, there's a Denny's. The Denny's on the Las Vegas Strip, fantastic.
Well, we're by a restart here. Let's see if Ocean Chief is going to go home a rich man or a broke man. Considering John Wick is only coming along the back straight now, although it looks like Justin is sort of trying to hold up for him. It's a long wait for the safety car, of course, as well. Like, you know, the safety car will pull away very early, but John Wick still has to make it through the chicane. They're coming up to the final bend now. When is Justin going to launch it? Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, now! And he gets the launch. That was a beautiful getaway. Jammy was sort of caught napping, and we have some cars making moves here. Meepo loses out to Tug. Noah gets ahead of Verge. Noah's actually come back up thanks to this safety car, and he'll want revenge. And they all seem to make it through fairly cleanly. We've got Gurla losing out, Meepo losing out. John Wick did pretty much catch up. He's 3 seconds adrift, 2 seconds adrift, as Mr. Pike is all the way down in 16th now, having put on such a brilliant show earlier on. In the midfield, we've got Crystals there. Here we've got Gurla still trying to hold position as they all get into line now. But it's Justin still leading this race from Jammy, from Nika. We have yellows. Run Cruiser, oh no! And he's lost his front wing. There was contact of some sort there. The Saubers having such a rotten day at the office today.
Yeah, Justin really caught the other guys napping. Jamie looks like he's in a pretty good position in second, as long as he can defend from Nikau. You know, John Wick might at least get 16.
Well, you'd imagine Run Cruiser will have to pit at some point, although he might just say, screw you, I'm going to have a bit of a fight here. Lepson losing out to Crystals. Gurla making up for that by overtaking the Ferrari in the Ferrari up to P9, up to P8 in fact, making a double overtake on the straight there. That's not the best entry though. Oh dear.
Oh.
Overcooked it. I thought that entry speed was too much.
That was into MGM Grand.
He will rejoin in 16th. John Wick did get ahead as Justin sets the fastest lap, as he continues to lead with 6 to go, including this one.
Apparently Ocean Chief is gonna room with Boosted Mess after this race, because Ocean Chief is gonna lose his house because he betted on the race. But Ocean Chief can only pay in potatoes.
You can pay in potatoes. Give me back my potatoes. I'm an Irishman. Give me back my potatoes. But it's not over yet. Justin still has to make it home. He is pulling away from Jammy, and Jammy is now the cork in the bottle, because Nikau and Makender have some serious pace. They are really putting pressure on Jammy, who is looking so secure for second.
I've been told to ask you about potato bread, boss.
What about it?
I don't know. Ocean Chief just says ask Lars about potato bread.
Well, what do you want me to say? It's a nice little local thing that you have on your fry over here. It's lovely. It's just like a slightly more like starchy bread.
What about potato pancakes with applesauce?
Oh, that's disgusting. No, because pancakes, your pancakes are somewhat sweet.
Okay. If you put syrup on them.
I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't, but I wouldn't recommend it.
You don't put syrup on your pancakes?
Oh, no. On regular pancakes. Yeah. You can put syrup on them. I thought you were talking about potato pancakes, though.
I mean, I've never had potato pancakes because I'm not Irish.
Yeah, but... Oh! Mr. Pike trying the wall ride.
Yeah, I've never had potato pancakes.
You've never had potato pancakes?
No, because I'm not Irish.
No, I mean, you don't have to be Irish to have them.
We don't.
Fairly
Why
easy to
would
make. I'll send you a recipe after.
please don't. Please
let's get-
don't. I'm not gonna make potato pancakes.
They're really nice though to have with a fry.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make like a fried potato, like fries.
Or as we call them, chips.
Oh, so
We're not starting. No, we're not starting this again.
Or are you talking about like, what would we call that? I just went to Waffle House last night. How did I?
How have we got on this line of conversation? We're meant to be talking about the race here.
Well, because Ocean Chief brought up potato bread.
He's our Ted Kravitz. He doesn't dictate the commentary.
Well, yeah,
And
but
besides,
I wanted to know
he's
about
discussing
potato.
with Boost and Mess.
I wanted to
like the
know
whole
about
thing.
potato bread because I've never heard of potato bread.
Welcome to
Why would you
SLR's Cookery Podcast.
Why would you make bread with potatoes?
It just adds a bit more. It adds a bit more, like, you know, it just adds all the stuff you get from potatoes in a different way. So you get
you put sugar in bread. Wait.
well, you put a little bit of sugar in bread, but it's mostly it just gets you more of the, you know, like the roughage, the fiber, you know, and the vitamins and minerals you get from potatoes.
I would never eat bread with potatoes in it.
You would also apparently never commentate as Noah tries to go around the outside of Makender. That's not going to happen, surely. Although it becomes the inside for the next corner. They'll be brave to hang it around the... Oh, that was beautiful. And Tunari taking advantage as well there. Says, thank you very much.
I would eat French bread before I eat potato bread.
Can we stop talking about food?
Yes. I'm
God damn
hungry.
it.
So Justin's going to run away
Oh,
with this
no,
race.
Noah.
Oh.
Noah goes well deep into that corner. Survives for now, though. And up at the front, Naikau chasing down Jammy and is within striking distance. Jammy's second place under threat for the first time in this race. I tell you what, Makender is also looking threatened to Nari as well.
Yeah, that safety
we got
car
yellow
really.
sector too.
Oh, Mr. Pike's out of the race.
VSC.
VSC.
So is this going to be basically a one-lap shootout then?
Apparently. Ocean Chief's out here talking about a can of haggis.
Right, we are not enough about the food.
He's talking about a can of haggis. I was just going to comment that a can of haggis sounds disgusting.
And it probably is, as Gurley gets a 10-second penalty for a collision, and he's lost his front wing as well.
Yep.
It's all going a bit chaotic at the end here.
Yep. Naikau closing in on Jamie's a great story. He was pretty easily third for most of the day. If he can get second, that'd be big for the Mercs.
It would be, absolutely. And Tunari's, it's been a good showing from the Mercs and the Astons as well. 6th and 7th, nothing to be ashamed of there. Noah flying the flag solo for the McLarens. Joel just has not been able to make any inroads. And Lepson surviving, by the way, with that 0 setup car. He's 13th, so it's an improvement. Albeit not a very big one. But he's doing what he can. And virtual safety car will probably be ending fairly soon. It tends to stay out for quite a short period of time. We might get onto lap 24 just before it ends. And it has ended about halfway around the lap. So, Justin begins again. Naikau. Did he get the launch? They both saved ERS. Naikau going full attack. Jammy going full defense. Both burning. I've got yellows in sector 2 again. No, that was the old yellows. They're cleared now, but neither one can do it. Naikau saved a little bit more ERS as they come round into what's effectively the final corner. Further back, Verch gets ahead of AR Gamer, and this is the battle for the final group of points, so there's definitely something at stake here. Verch is in 10th, And Crystal's looking to salvage something from this weekend for Ferrari. Can he do anything about it? Not at present. What can Naikau do? This for second place on the podium. And of course Noah is waiting in the wings in case these two come together. But Naikau has shown he knows when to strike. Apparently Run Cruiser and Girl were fighting dirty with each other. I'm sure the stewards will be dealing with that later on.
Yeah,
This Girl gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane and presumably will retire. Indeed they do. So there are going to be yellows, but nothing will come out for that. We've got 1.5 laps to go. If Jamie is going to, or sorry, if Naikau is going to make a move, he's got to do it soon. Ooh. Seem to be losing a little bit of control. There's John Wick gets 3 seconds for corner cutting just to compound his misery. AR Gamer, of course, with a penalty, so he'll drop back. I think he'll drop out of the points. Crystals could be on course for 2 points. Verge may get a point at the end of this. Naikau making the run. Does he get the move? There's just not enough of a straightaway, which is amazing considering how long it is. But Naikau and Jamie managing their ERS just about. And Naikau has one more chance, one more lap to get this move done, as Justin sets another fastest lap of the race. And here comes Noah. Noah wants a podium, and he's got the ERS to do it. He goes alongside Naikau and makes the move, but loses a bit of traction on exit. He does hold the line though. So Noah back up into the podium places.
What a great move in turn number 1. He made the dive, he got the move done, and now he sets his sights on Jamie with just a little over 3/4 of a lap to go to claim the second spot on the podium.
Indeed he does. No one's touching Justin at the minute. Of course, he's still got to bring it home. Anything can happen even in these final few corners. But it's looking good for him. Oh, Noah power sliding through that corner. Naikau will want to try and reclaim that position, but Noah has DRS or ERS in hand, and that's a smooth run through the corner complex for him. He seems to be very good through the corners here. Gets the braking under control. Oh no! Jamie hits the wall. He clips the wall with his right rear. They're side by side.
That
Who
would be
comes
an
out ahead?
unideal way to end this race for Jamie. If Noah's going to have the inside line, he's got a really good shot at making this move down into MGA.
I'll tell you what, he's flashing on fuel as well. He's about to run out of fuel. Does he have enough to make it to the end? Just one more straight to go. It's going to be Justin who's going to win the race. Who's going to take second and third? It looks like. I think he's just got enough. Noah takes second from Jamie and Naikau. Oh, Makender in the wall at the end and loses out to Tunari over the line. Tunari takes fifth, Makender sixth, Tug seventh.
Oh no. Okay, you're right.
As he's rolling backwards. And Makender technically what? Makender apparently DNFs. Ocean Chief despairing for Jamie losing second place, but still on the podium. A surprise point for AR Gamer there, it seems. Gosh, that was exciting.
Yeah, really good race start to finish. Lot of action in the midfield, kind of like we expected at the start of this one. We talked about it in qualifying. The midfield was really only separated by about 0.4 of a second, and it really showed. We had really good battles all throughout the race. A lot of contact. The FIA is going to have some. They're going to have some decisions to make. But great win for Justin. That's 2 in a row, and he is well on his way to winning a second championship. Indeed.
Well, it's only the second round. Let's not count any chickens yet. But 2 wins in a row is certainly a great way to start the season. As I say, not over yet, of course. Rosberg, remember in 2016, he won 4 races at the start, and the race still came down to the final. The championship still came down to the final round in Abu Dhabi. But it's certainly a good start for Justin, who takes another win, 26 points, full honours to him. Noah will hold on to second there. Jammy drops down to third. Naikau, Tunari, Tug, Crystals, Vert, Meepo, and AR Gamer taking the final point. Behind them, Run Cruiser, Lepson, John Wick, Joel. Makender is classified, although he may actually want to debate that with the stewards. I thought he rolled over the line before he crashed. Your non-finishers, Gurla, Mr. Pike, and Skoloin. Although Gurla is still technically classified, albeit 3 laps down. So, there we go. And now, we shall be preparing for interviews. We didn't have too many last week, of course. But we will see who we get, if anybody. Do you see anyone waiting in the wings there?
I do not.
Well, we'll give them a few minutes. Maybe they will join in a little bit. I'll just exit out of my game here.
So Lars.
Oh, there.
Lars, buddy. Canned
Yes.
haggis. How do you feel?
I'm Irish, not Scottish. I don't eat haggis. Haggis is a Scottish
Sure, but
dish.
surely you've had haggis, right?
No.
No.
It's not. It's not as common as you think in Scotland. Like it's a very odd dish. You know what it is, right?
It's sheep intestines, right?
Well, it's various parts of the sheep's body, all like inside. I believe originally it was a sheep's stomach, like that was cooked.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe originally. I don't know if it's still done the same way, but yeah, it's effectively all that stuff. So
I read a Scottish book one time.
you read the Scottish what? Sorry.
A book, a Scottish book.
What was the Scottish book?
I don't remember.
Conversations with you are a wild ride, boss man. I'll tell you that much. Speaking of conversations, we do
in the
have
interview room.
we do have one in the interview room to our conversation. It's our race winner, Justin.
Hello.
Well, welcome back again. 2 wins on the trot. You can't say much fairer than that for a start to the season.
No, definitely that. Feels good. Happy.
How was it out there? Obviously, to the unwitting viewer, it looked like quite an easy run for you. But I imagine in those conditions, it was anything but.
It was fun, I think, at least for me. I enjoyed Vegas. I never did Vegas in the wet because who has, to be honest? And yeah, every single lap it was a learning curve. It was very slippery, as you can imagine, especially in the sphere section, if you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just about managing, not hitting any walls, and trying to run away.
Fair enough. Obviously, I mean, you'll want to watch the stream back because all the action happened behind you. I mean, did you feel under threat at any point throughout that race, or were you quite comfortable?
Well, at the beginning, I saw Jamie was hanging on quite comfortably with me, and then afterwards, I saw I was 0.6 a lap faster at the beginning. But then obviously the safety car restart, it evens up the playing field, and everyone's semi-used to the track conditions. But they got into a squabble, and that allowed me to pull a further gap.
It's a squabble you'll want to watch. We had a great time watching that battle. I think it was like P2, and eventually the train extended down like P8, I think. Bossman, anything to add there?
Yeah. I assume it was your home race, right?
My home race?
Is it your home race?
No.
Oh, you're not American?
No.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, that you sounded American to me.
Wow.
You can be an honorary American.
I'm not sure if that's
unless
given who
you're
you've got
Canadian.
coming in as the president. I'm not sure if that's a curse or a blessing.
If you're Canadian, you can't be an honorary.
What are you actually?
I'm
Justin.
French-Irish.
He's French-Irish. Hey, you got a bit of Irish blood in him. There you go. Good man.
I guess you can be an honorary American. You kind of pulled away there at the beginning. Was there any thought of strategy? Was it always going to be a one stop?
Yeah, it was always going to be one stop, but my main strategy was obviously box whenever there was behind box, because in case if there was a safety car like there was, I don't want to be behind them. And ultimately, I think that was the best strategy today, given how late the safety car was, and the tires were still only at about 40%, so you could have theoretically probably done a no-stop race if you pushed it.
We go to Singapore next week. Obviously, the Singapore track a lot kind of similar to Vegas. long straights, fairly tight, windy bits. How do you feel about Singapore next week?
Singapore is another one of my favorite tracks, so hopefully good. See, maybe not run away as much because there's more corners, more DRS, but I think it could be good fun for overtaking.
Assuming you have to do any.
But you never know.
Yeah, I know we're only 2 races into a 12-race calendar, but looking at the championship, how do you feel so far through the first 2 races? Obviously, you got 2 wins on the trot right now.
Well, the record last season was first person to get 2 championships in a row, so why not make it a third? You know, that's the goal.
There you go.
Fair enough. I wish you were as confident in your I wish I was as confident in my championship aspirations in AOR as you are in this. Let me tell you. But yeah, I think that might be once again. You're the only one who really sort of showed up in the interview room. Everyone else, though, I think is probably very heated and quite wisely probably sitting back to cool down because there was a lot of aggressive driving in the rest of the field, which I'm sure you'll be able to watch back in the VOD. But if that's all there is, I think we're pretty much done here.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, I say that, and then look who shows up in the interview room.
Who shows up in the interview room?
It's Jammy.
Jammy?
Well, we'll call it there for you, Justin. Well done once again, and we'll see you next week for Singapore for what may be a 3rd in a row.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Adios. Right, you want to move Jammy in here, and I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I can, as soon as I scroll down to it. Mr. Jammy Jam comes home second. How do you feel after that one?
I came back 3rd.
Oh, you came home 3rd. There we go. I wasn't even paying attention. That's right. You hit the wall. We'll ask you about that in a second. But overall, how do you feel about Vegas?
I did a lot better than I thought I would. That's for certain. Yeah. Quali went very well.
Last lap incident. I believe it was coming on to the Vegas Strip. Might have been a little bit before that, but what happened there?
I just clipped the wall with my right rear tire on the exit, and it locked me onto the wall. So no, I got the run on me. Yeah, bit brutal, but you know.
Did you feel pretty confident about second before the safety car?
Yeah. I was 9 seconds ahead. Just pitted. I was going to pit when the safety car came out. Yeah, it'd been fine. But yeah,
happens. Was there any thought that you could have caught our race winner?
No, there was a slight dream when about 3 laps in when I caught him by about 4 tenths on a lap, and then he put in a fastest lap was a second and a half quicker than me. So.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
That's about all I got right now.
That's a big oof. But well done anyway. I mean, are you feeling a little bit? You must be a little bit gutted on losing out to second. You know, at that last point.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, isn't it?
So you'll still be happy with 3rd, yeah?
Oh, I'm happy with 3rd. Yeah, it's a competitive league. If you're near the top, you're doing well.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's all I got then.
No.
Good stuff. So Singapore next week. Well, I suppose Singapore next week. What are your thoughts on that?
When I want to do some practice, I'll know more. Yeah, either goes very well or very poorly. Singapore. I've never had just an okay race there.
Do you like the track personally, or what do you think of it?
I liked the older layout more.
You like the old layout more, so the Singapore sling.
Yeah, the chicane that they removed. And the tunnel.
I did like the Singapore sling.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Fair enough. But we'll have to make do with what we've got. And you're okay with the new layout, though?
Yeah, it's fine.
Fair enough. So, we'll let you go and get that practice in. And we'll see you next week and hopefully another podium for you.
Cheers, yeah, hopefully so. Right. Peace.
Adios, see you. Right.
I think that's about it.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's all we've got. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll call it there. A much more interesting Grand Prix than I thought it was going to be, because I was worried we were going to have just a bit of a DRS snooze fest, but we actually did really well there. So we'll leave it there for now. Thank you all so much for watching again and being with us for this great race. And we will see you next week in Singapore. But until then, it's goodbye from me, Lars.
And goodbye from me, boss man.
And we will see you next week. Take very good care of yourselves, folks.